First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Ms. Coonan's advisory group and Dr. Houston's advisory group for serving as greeters today. It's very nice to have a warm welcome as everybody comes in, and it will be even more so as the weather changes and gets colder. So if your advisory group would like to do the same, to take a turn being the greeters, please just let Jalen or Andre know so that they can put you on the schedule. So some of you may have noticed this rosebud next to me on this little podium here, pedestal. As you will recall, whenever a new baby is born into our community, we welcome our new family member with a rose to honor his or her birth. So this rose is in honor of baby Weston Michael Perricone, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Perricone, who was born yesterday, September 30th. We give thanks for his arrival, and we welcome him with great joy into our Cardigan family. As you look at the tree outside the big window behind me, you may notice that instead of being all green as it was last week, it's turning more and more orange by the day. Although last week we were a bit too warm in chapel, especially up in the balcony, this week you may feel a little more comfortable. These are sure signs that we are leaving the summer behind and heading into a new season. Not only a new season of the year, but really a new season of our lives. Friends, our journey together is underway as we prepare our hearts and our minds for what will be a full and rich chapel service today. I will first read a poem, followed by a prayer for our community, and then I will end with about 30 seconds of silence. Now that silence is yours. You can choose to pray if you'd like, or to think, to close your eyes, or to keep them open and look at the trees, or simply just be. But whatever you choose, please be respectful of the privacy of those around you. Be still, be quiet, and let others be too. Please join me now in prayer or in silent reflection. Dear God, let me not pray to be sheltered from dangers, but to be fearless in facing them. Let me not beg for the stilling of my pain, but instead for the heart to conquer it. Let me not crave in anxious fear to be saved, but instead hope for the patience to win my freedom. We thank you, God, for this time to be together to share our joys and concerns, our triumphs and our challenges with one another and with you. Thank you especially for the birth of baby Weston. Bless him and his parents in these early hours and days. We pray for continued healing for our brother Alvaro Altamirano and for all others in our Cardigan family or our families at home who are injured or are sick or recovering from illness. We thank you for this safe space, for this sacred space. Be near to us now as we rest in these next few moments of silence.
Great. One of the things that many communities have shared for thousands of years all around the world, many different cultures and communities, is music. There's music when we work, there's music when we want to celebrate something, there's music when we want to pass the time. There's music in lots of different places. And here at Cardigan, that's no different. We have music when we work, when we're spraying wiping the tables, when we're listening to music during study hall, when at many different times. One of the things that binds lots and lots of communities together around the world and for many, many years is having special music and special traditions around very happy occasions that occur within that community. Just about all of those communities, the birth of a new baby is huge. The birth of a new baby is sometimes one of the biggest celebrations that communities have. And we have this wonderful tradition of putting a rosebud up here every time there's a new baby born. Today, I would like to ask your help in maybe trying to start a new tradition here. And that is to start a song that we can sing for a few weeks now in celebration. We've had a number of new births over the course of the last year. And then we can continue that tradition as new members of our Cardigan community are born into the community. It takes a whole village to raise our children. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We all, everyone, must share the burden. We all, everyone, will share the joy. One thing that I would like to do with this is make this a wonderful welcome back for Mr. and Mrs. Periodically when they come back. Thank you so much.
Last week, Mr. Lister James gave a great speech that set us our theme for the year. The theme is the hero's journey. There are many stories that follow the pattern of the hero's journey. Some of these stories are thousands of years old, like Homer's Odyssey, and some are modern, like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Hunger Games, and The Lord of the Rings. In all of these stories, there are mentors, or a wise elder who helped the heroes on their quests. Dumbledore, Master Yoda, and Gandalf are examples of mentors. Each one of us is in his own journey here at Cardigan this year, and we are lucky to have mentors to help us on our way. So each week in chapel, we will hear a message from one of our Cardigan mentors. Please join me in welcoming today's mentor, Mr. Langetiga.
I have to admit that song kind of rattled me. I'm a little off my game now, so I'll do my best to get back to it. That is definitely something that kind of takes you over. So first, I'd like to thank Dr. Perryman for giving me the opportunity to address you, my community, people I live side by side with. And I think that the topic I'm going to talk about today, courage, is particularly important. Now, people often assume that my experience in life that required the most courage was when I left my family and friends and everything behind in 2004, and I moved over to South Korea, where I did not know the language, did not know the people, and was pretty much unfamiliar with the place, beyond a few acquaintances. I think they assume this because most times in our culture, we associate courage with things like summiting Everest or running into a burning building, to save someone. These tremendous acts. But I'd like to tell you that while moving to Korea certainly changed my life and helped me on my path back here, I can think back to an experience I had that shaped me and my ability to pick up and go study abroad in college, to move to Korea, and to experience all these great things I have. So I can still think back and remember how nervous I was and the complete panic that overcame me when my mother left me up at Holderness for the beginning of my junior year in high school. Much like all of you, I decided to head away to school to try something new. And I've got to say, at that moment when I saw the van drive away and I was all alone, I was pretty certain that was absolutely the worst decision I had ever made in my life. I mean, I was completely freaked out. Take a moment to think about that. I was 16 years old. Right? There were tears streaming down my face all alone in my dorm. And all I wanted was to go back with my mommy in the car to Connecticut and not stay in New Hampshire. Now, you guys are all younger than that. And you all chose to come here to experience something similar at this younger age. And whether it was last year, 3 years ago, or the past few weeks, you've all experienced similar emotions. You might still be experiencing those now. And that's okay. Because I'd left my comfort zone then, just like you've left your comfort zone to be here at Cardigan. And leaving all of that behind, leaving behind my security of family, friends, and an environment that I knew, where I had thrived, that took courage. However, I was going to need a lot more courage to make the transition into a new community up at Holderness, a completely foreign community. And I didn't realize how much courage I was going to need day to day to do the things to make that transition. Many of us, I'd say all of us, probably are drawn to the things that come easily. And when I was in high school, football was something that came pretty easily to me. I was pretty good at football. And it was pretty exciting that right away at preseason I made an immediate impact. I was part of a team that had a long-standing tradition, and I was playing well. That brought fast friends, but fast forward 2 weeks later, and this thing here was pretty much hanging off my body after a freak accident. And what I had established for myself was gone, because I hadn't been there very long, and I relied solely on football to establish my little network. I didn't have an identity at that point. I hadn't established it. I did certainly, but not in that community. I didn't have security and comfort because I hadn't branched out yet. And all of a sudden, the one thing that had drawn me to others, that had plugged me in with people, was gone. And that was pretty hard. And I was going to have to find new ways to connect with my classmates in the community because I hadn't yet. Let's face it, trying new things is hard. Taking chances and not knowing what the end result's going to be, that's scary. Having to work at things that do not initially come naturally can be so frustrating because you're not going to be good right away. And all these kind of acts, all of these things, they have one particular thing in common. They require courage. I didn't realize at the time that showing up at an evening snack bar, which doesn't mean anything to you guys, but meant a lot to the Holderness community, and meeting the girls and guys from my grade was going to be tough because I had to be brave. Signing up for service learning, I had to be brave. I had to be willing to do that because it's easy to sit on your computer or hang out in your room and listen to music or call home. But we have opportunities here, and I had opportunities there that were way bigger than the simple things that are important. Yes, still talk to your parents, but do more. And these opportunities, they can be terrifying to approach. It was scary to walk up to a group of strangers at a table at a buffet meal and ask if I could sit with them because I didn't know them. I didn't have that network of friends yet. It was a nervous situation for me to ask to play Frisbee with other kids because I hadn't done it, pardon me. And I was so afraid of rejection. By the way, there was no rejection. Everything went just fine. And I made friends quickly once I got over that. But I was so terrified of rejection that I held back. Held back to the extent that in the first few days of preseason, I didn't have a towel because I'd forgotten to pack it. And back then, ENR, the same ENR that you have, because we had ENR at all the schools in the 90s, they didn't include towels for us. So instead of asking for a towel, I was drying myself off with a pair of sweatpants, showering at a different time than everyone else, because I was frightened, because I needed the courage to ask for a simple thing, something that was pretty easy to get in the scheme of things. But you have to be brave. When I got over that rejection, like I said, things weren't only fine, they were fantastic. And so while these specific circumstances might not apply to you exactly, there's going to be something you can find and draw upon that's going to be similar to that. And I've got to be honest, all of you are already brave. You need to congratulate yourselves because you have the courage to be here at Cardigan. You've picked up and you've done something exceptional, something different, something that not many boys your age are able to do. And that's fantastic, right? People without courage don't do what you've done in coming here. But just remember, it also takes courage to ask for help, and you're going to need help at times in this community. It takes courage to admit you were wrong. And you don't stop admitting you're wrong when you get older. I'm constantly admitting that I've done something wrong and asking for forgiveness. It takes courage to put others before yourself and know that ultimately you will be better off as well for putting them first. All of these things take courage. You, every single one of you, are already courageous. And I'm proud of you for the things you've done that are brave. I'm impressed. But your journeys are just beginning. It's up to you to rise to the occasion and see where it's going to take you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Langatique. Just as each hero's journey includes a mentor, each individual hero cannot make it through his or her quest without his loyal sidekicks or friends. Harry Potter had Ron and Hermione, Luke Skywalker, C-3PO, R2-D2. Frodo had Samwise, even Shrek and Donkey. These friends help the hero and cheer him up when he's feeling discouraged. In some examples, they even save a hero's life. In our individual journeys here at Cardigan, we will have good friends who help us, and we will be good friends to ourselves. We will be good friends ourselves. It is a lot safer to go on a dangerous journey with a trusted friend beside you, someone who has your back. It is also a lot more fun. Here at Cardigan, we refer to these friends as sidekicks, or our brothers, as we want to learn from them too. So each week in chapel this year, we will hear a message from one of our Cardigan brothers, as well as a mentor. Please join me in welcoming today's brother, Andrew Noel.
Good afternoon, faculty, staff, my fellow Cardigan brothers. Before we get started, I'd like to share with you 3 rules I follow in public speaking. They are: be insightful, be brief, and be gone. The dictionary defines courage as the ability to do something that you know is difficult or dangerous. When I think of courage, I think it is overcoming fear and doing something even when you don't want to. Throughout my life, I've had the opportunity to witness courage in many different forms. Whether it was in the classroom, on the sports field, but most importantly in life when faced with adversity or a challenge. As many of you may know, my family went through a very tough time last year with my dad passing away. Throughout his battle with cancer, he showed great courage. Even when doctors said that they were unable to do anything more for him, he overcame his fear and kept fighting on. He continued in his everyday life, going to work, working out, and doing what he normally would be doing. He did not let being sick affect his approach on life and the way he looked at things. In his 5-year battle with cancer, the one thing that never really got to him was the fact that he was very sick. He was able to overcome the fact that he was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. Even when several doctors turned away for additional treatment, he always kept going and finding a new approach to looking at things. He kept going forward and refused to let others determine what his outcome was going to be. The one doctor who decided to operate on my dad showed great courage, in the sense that other people did not want to take the risk. She stepped up and put all other things aside and just did it. One of the things my dad was most known for was being there for other people. Whether it was at his job, with his friends, or at home, being there for his kids and family. He was able to go on when many others would have just stopped. He showed courage. Throughout my life, my mom has shown great courage also, through the challenge of raising 3 children. The time that she showed the most courage was this past winter when she was losing her husband and, most importantly, her best friend to cancer. She was always there, being strong and supporting my brother, sister, and me through this difficult time. She was able to put others before herself, even when she was going through a very tough period in her life. After my dad passed away, she never let it get to her. She showed courage by being able to go back to her kindergarten, teaching kindergarten, and being there for her students, but also being there for her family. But most importantly, she overcame the fact that she lost her best friend and was still able to live life to the fullest. She continues to find happiness and joy in life. She showed courage. During the challenges with my dad's illness after he died, people kept telling me how brave I was. I think that it's very hard to recognize courage within yourself, but it's not so hard to recognize it in others. It meant a lot to me when people reminded me that I was showing great courage, and I can pay that kindness forward by talking to you today, and by challenging you to do something important. We are on a long, difficult journey this year, and we will all be called upon to do things that require courage. So when you see courage in the community, and most importantly in someone else, recognize it and let them know they are acting courageous. When someone else is being selfless, maybe by helping the other fellow, or if you see someone trying something new, or when you are doing something uncomfortable and you see someone else struggling too, help them out and let them know they're not alone. Courageous acts don't always come in big times of adversity. It's often the ones to simply get you through the day. When you notice someone else is being brave, say something. Because it's often the smallest things that make a biggest difference in someone else's life. My challenge to you throughout this year is to seek out and acknowledge others' acts of courage and recognize it within yourself when you need to demonstrate courage. How will you show courage? I'm going to leave you with a great quote by Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Heart of the Cougar is a monthly recognition to commend boys for their exemplary efforts of living by Cardigan's core values and going above and beyond in their effort to help the other fellow. It is a distinction that we are proud of here at Cardigan, and we celebrate these boys in chapel each month to honor the recipients with the dignity they deserve.
I'd like to congratulate the following boys for being nominated for September's Heart of the Cougar Award. Seth Gray suffered an unfortunate injury prior to the start of mountain biking season. Despite this setback, he has found a way to contribute to the program in a significant way. He has been a positive influence on his varsity teammates while also taking time to help the JV riders improve their skills. His positive attitude and leadership has made him a valuable coach as he has helped his Cardigan brothers through the start of the season. Jack Audette has been an exemplary scholar, citizen, athlete, leader, and friend to all at CMS. His commitment to the Cardigan way helped pave the way for an auspicious start to the academic year. Akar Escamilla for repeated action of helping the other fella at the start of the year. So far, I've seen Akar over and over again helping out when he sees something that needs to be done or someone who needs an extra hand with what they are doing. He is always smiling and always looking to be helpful. Please join me in applauding these boys for being nominated for the Heart of the Cougar.
And now I am proud to recognize this month's Heart of the Cougar recipient. As a new member of our community, he has fully embraced the Cardigan way in all areas of school life. He's a fantastic advisee and dorm resident. He is respectful and caring to all of his peers and always gives his best regardless of the activity. Most notably, he showed inspirational courage on Mountain Day when, despite challenges stemming from his vision, he persevered and maintained an incredibly determined attitude in the face of adversity. As we embrace the courage of our community this week, it is fitting that we recognize this young man for his demonstration of courage, the noblest of all attainments. I am pleased to call up Juan Pablo Manjino to receive his Heart of the Cougar Award.
Thank you, Austin and Jack. And now please rise for the singing of the Cardigan hymn. To Cardigan, our favored school, by nature's gifts benign, we raise in song our thankfulness for beauty which is thine. For winter snow, for afterglow, when day fades into dreams of goals toward which we all will strive, to keep thy faiths alive. To keep thy faith in us alive, together we will strive. As Cardigan is mirrored in our crystal lake so clear, may we through life reflect thy truths and memories as dear. Of summer's green, fall's colors bright, of glimmering stars at night. God give us strength to carry on through storm or weather fair.
the peace vouchsafed by living here for all the world to share.
Friends, there is so much courage in this room. As I was sitting here today, just listening to people do things they'd never done before, to play an instrument, to take a risk and lead a song, to take a risk and try something new, to speak. So much courage, and it's very touching to me to see it. Thank you. You have spoken to me by your courage. And for all of the rest of us, for all of us together, go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all people. And love and serve the Lord. Amen.